The AirPods Pro 2 have had universally positive reviews, and I have a pair here, and I'm happy to say that for me, they've also turned out to be a great pair of earphones. But I think what I kind of want to illustrate in this video is that I don't think they're quite as good as everyone makes them out to be. That's to say, I bought my pair after having had two pairs of AirPods Pro of the original. I had my original pair for about a year and a half when I eventually broke them by using them as basically earplugs at night, and I found that by sleeping on them, they broke. So I ended up buying a second pair just a little over a year ago, and when I heard about the new pair that came out, I was watching all these reviews talking about how amazing they were, how they were so much better than the first pair, how they sounded so much better, how their noise canceling was so much better, how their transparency mode was so much better. So as soon as I had enough money to buy a pair, I did, even though I'd only had my last pair of AirPods Pro for about a year. And having now had my AirPods Pro 2 for about 3 months, what I can say is that yes, overall they're better. But I've almost started to forget that they're actually a new pair of headphones at all. That's to say that I would say the majority of the time I really notice no difference compared to my old pair. That's to say I don't remember often that I actually am using a new pair of headphones. And I guess what I mean by saying that is that I think the AirPods Pro 2 are an extremely iterative upgrade over the original AirPods Pro. They are basically... they're almost like an AirPods Pro 1.5, I would say. They're better, yes, but they don't really feel like the generational leap you'd expect from the over 2 years of, I want to say it was closer to 3 years of difference between the first and the second pair. That's to say their design is exactly the same. They still look exactly like the originals did, as far as visually speaking, anyway. A lot of us had hoped, I would say, for different color options, at least for the very least for a black color option, and we didn't get that. These are still the same white AirPods Pro that we had in the original generation. Yes, they have a little lanyard loop. Yes, they have a little speaker on them. All, great little quality of life upgrades, but is that really what I guess we would expect from a generational upgrade of a product? I think for me, it's a little hard to say that. Sound quality. Sound quality is something I noticed a lot of reviewers talking about how much better it was in these AirPods Pro 2, how much better they sounded than the first pair. And I'll admit, when it comes to this, I might not always be the best source because I'm pretty into high-end audio. I've spent a good deal of money, perhaps more than I'd like to admit, on, I guess, quote-unquote audiophile gear in the last several years. So when everyone said these sounded so much better, I guess I was expecting a little bit more. That's to say that they do certainly sound better than the original AirPods Pro, but how much better is really up for debate. I would say that on the whole, the term iterative, which I used earlier to describe the difference between these and the original, also applies to the difference in sound quality. That's to say that, you put them in for the first time. If you're an AirPods Pro user, you're like, these sound a bit better. They have a little more bass. They sound a little bit clearer. But I feel that some other reviewers, at least in my opinion, have kind of exaggerated this to make them sound like there's some extreme upgrade compared to the first. For me, that's just not really the case. Lossless audio was something I was really looking forward to, and something I guess I was frankly expecting, considering Apple Music, of which I'm a subscriber to. I know some of you are probably thinking, why would you do that? And the simplest answer is because lossless audio costs the same as it does for a normal subscription. So Apple Music has lossless audio. So you would come to expect, perhaps, that Apple would be putting lossless audio in some of their headphones. Up until now, they haven't. So the AirPods Pro 2 do not support lossless audio, something that would have made them sound, frankly, way better than the originals. As it stands, they sound somewhat better. Another thing I would say about these is, if I really have to be sort of generous to them, I think if there's something about them that perhaps is so significantly better than the first, I would say it's noise canceling. I was on a trip recently where I was flying, and I wore these, and what I originally noticed, or immediately noticed rather, is that the noise canceling is significantly better than the first. On a plane, that hum that you generally hear was almost imperceptible, and that was not the case with the first generation. So in this area, I will say, for a counter argument, they are significantly better. Transparency mode, I've also heard other reviewers saying, is again, the sort of like world's better than the first. I know in the Apple advertisement for these, there is this sense that if you're walking out and you hear a loud sound, that it's going to be reduced by this amazing technology in the transparency mode. So far, I haven't noticed that. I've worn these in transparency mode near some loud environments, and I didn't hear this magical reduction in the loud sound. To me, it's basically a slightly clearer version of the transparency mode in the first. If I wanted to essentially condense down some of my feelings about these in the clearest way possible, what I would say is the AirPods Pro 2 are better than the first generation, but if you already have the first generation and your first generation pair is still in good shape, that's to say the battery is still working well on them, they're still going strong, I don't really recommend you buy these. In my situation, I was able to give my first generation pair to my brother as a gift, so it ended up working out well. But there's a part of me that regrets it, frankly. It's a part of me that feels that maybe it wasn't really the right investment to buy these at this point. I'm glad that I got to do it. It allowed me to make this video. But for those of you that are considering this, are considering getting the AirPods Pro 2, and you already have the AirPods Pro, which I know a lot of us are like that, I guess you could say, in the Apple community. We tend to buy every generation of the product. I would really ask yourself if you think it's worth it, based on what I've said in this video. I also, again, I kind of struggle a little bit to understand why these products have been hyped so much up by other reviewers. Again, I'm going to say this again, they are a very good product. If you have never had AirPods Pro before, absolutely, these are the ones to get. They seem to only be slightly more expensive on Amazon, which they are linked in the description, and if you are in that position, I strongly recommend you buy them. But I just struggle to find them to be a meaningful upgrade compared to the first generation. If you're interested in supporting our work here on the channel, down in the description, we have compiled some of the top-rated accessories for the AirPods Pro 2, the ones that are the best reviewed on Amazon. And if you do decide to buy them, you don't have to pay anything extra for them, and you get to support our work here on the channel so we can continue to buy more products and make more videos for you guys. This has just been a quick little, review, discussion about the AirPods Pro 2. Thank you for watching, and until next time, Christian from Ericsson Films.